So I'm glad to be here and thank you for inviting me. I think that we have a very exciting panel ahead of us, and I'm glad that I'm sort of able to start it off because I want to talk about a slightly different approach to thinking about the school to work issues and the exciting things that are being done, and look at it through a slightly different lens. So I want to talk about the question that was put on the panel: how should national education systems prepare students for successful careers and link students to opportunities in work? That's a very important question, and one that I'm sure all of you are addressing as you look at what's happening in your own countries, as you look at the innovation that's going on around education, as you look at new models for learning, and as you look at do-it-yourself education, and how do you get from school to work. I want to talk about it from a new approach, from what's called an innovation ecosystem in education. Because unless we change the players at the table, and unless we look differently at how we're getting our students prepared for work, and how we're supporting that information to get them prepared, we won't be able to get there in the 21st century. I think it's important to bring together a very interesting group of collaborators that have never been engaged in this conversation in a collaborative model. I think we have to carefully look at bringing researchers to the table. How many of the people in this room would consider themselves a researcher? Looks at data, looks at information from universities, works at a university. And how often is your research ever looked at in relationship to the decisions that are being made at the ministries of education around the world? And how is that research used? So I suggest that we have a big role for the research community to be part of this process. I also suggest that we need to look more than just at the governments in our countries to make the difference. We need to look at the investors and the foundations that support the students that we want to take from school to work. And we want to support that. And we need to bring together people that are traditionally not investing in that. How do you get the investor to come to the table with the government and the foundations? I also suggest that we need to look at the entrepreneurs. We need to look at the entrepreneurs' culture. We need to look at new models that the entrepreneurs are developing. And we need to assume that maybe the 18-year-old student that's graduating from our secondary schools has a really great idea to help students get from school to work. And maybe becoming an entrepreneur should be supported in a way that says that they are going from school to work. We also need to include the educators, the people that are working in our higher education institutions, the people that are working in our schools, the people that are working in our administrations, and the people that are helping to teach and learn in alternative methods, which I'll talk about in a minute. And these together would create an innovation ecosystem for changing the way we look at the decisions we make about going from school to work. I think part of this system needs to be the incubator ecosystem that's out there. Globally, in all of our countries around the world, daily, I am learning about a new incubator that incubates new educational technology companies to make a difference in education. I am seeing these started at universities. I'm seeing these being started in high school programs. I'm seeing these being started by the ministries of education. I am seeing these being started by corporations. And many of these, and please feel free to take a picture so that you can go out and check them out in your countries. But these on the slide are from India, they're from Israel, they're from Australia, they're from the United States, they're from Canada. And they are all working to bring the entrepreneur into this innovation ecosystem. So what are some of the solutions for entrepreneurs for school to work? Let me talk about some of the things that I see going on around the world that are being used to help students go from school to work. First of all, we are seeing boot camps. How many of you in your countries have boot camps? I know there's several being built in Africa. There's several of them in the United States. We're sending students to get skills in technical skills to be able to go from their high school degree or from their university degree to be able to become programmers, to be able to become web developers. So the boot camp motion is a very successful one. We're also seeing coding programs, both in the schools and in the universities and in the boot camps, helping students get ready for work with skills that they may not have learned or had access to the technology when they were in their schooling program. And for those students that are not in school or did not graduate from high school or only graduated in a program that wasn't able to get them the skills they needed, coding programs are an excellent solution to take us back, take our students into the workforce. If you look at the data around MOOCs, we are seeing a significant number of people taking MOOCs and getting specializations and getting access to their degrees by going through a MOOC to be able to get a new job, to be able to improve in their job, to be able to get skills that they wouldn't bring normally to the table. We see a significant number of new programs and companies that are helping students match their skills to job descriptions. We see a company called Parker Dewey that's helping students get internships. We're looking at LinkedIn that's helping to now relate their purchase of lynda.com, which is an educational set of tools to be able to look for jobs. So a significant number of new technologies are helping students identify their skills, improve their skills, and link those to jobs. We also are seeing a significant number of companies being developed to assess students' soft skills. We have often left that out of the marketplace and have often left that out in looking at what we want to do, to teach skills, to decide what students should do going forward. We need in this 21st century to evaluate their skills in collaboration, their skills in making critical thinking decisions, their skills in problem solving, and we don't have enough of those assessments to use. Two of the companies I seriously have been looking at is a company called Purpose. We know that when we find the right job and something that a student or a person is completely committed to and passionate about it, they will do better at that job. So how do we help them find what their purpose in life is, and how do we help them to be passionate about that? We also should look at Tanomi. Tanomi is a company that you can develop your own set of content and test for soft skills that you're interested in. You want to know about perseverance? You can look at it. You want to know about collaboration? You can look at it. But more and more companies are asking for not only an assessment of people's hard skills, their ability to code, or their ability to do accounting, or their ability to practice law, or their ability to be a plumber. They're also looking at what soft skills they bring to the table. We also have seen a significant number of programs that are helping students stay in school and get access to higher education, to vocational education, to new ways of learning those skills. We must begin to look at that as a way to give more and more students the ability to access new jobs and higher education in a format and in a way that will help them reach their goals. I think we are looking at a time in our education system where we have to be open to thinking entrepreneurial. We have to be able to innovate around the ways that we traditionally look at new things and new programs and new companies. I want to take a minute of my time, and I'd like you to turn to the person next to you and share with them, and many of you are in roles of researchers, many of you are in roles as entrepreneurs, many of you are in the government in your countries, or work on programs in the government. I want you to turn to the person next to you and share one thing that you would think is innovative. What are you doing that's uniquely different from what you traditionally would do